I'm not the type to scare easy, but what happened last fall in the Green Mountains still keeps me up at night. My buddy Nate and I, both 25, were backpacking near Black Hollow, a remote stretch of forest locals avoid. We'd heard the rumors, hikers hearing faint singing, but we laughed it off. City boys like us didn't buy into ghost stories. We set up camp by a creek, the air crisp with autumn chill. Around midnight, as the fire crackled, I heard it, a soft hum, like a choir warming up, coming from the trees. Nate froze, his marshmallow dropping into the dirt. "You hear that?" he whispered. I nodded, my skin prickling. The hum grew louder, forming words I couldn't make out, like a hymn in a language older than English. It wasn't beautiful, it was wrong, like voices stretched thin over too many years. We grabbed our flashlights, scanning the darkness. The beams caught nothing but swaying pines. Then the singing stopped, replaced by a single, clear voice calling my name, Evan, from the direction of the creek. It sounded like Nate, but he was right beside me, his eyes wide with panic. "I didn't say that," he hissed. The voice called again, sharper, angrier. We bolted for the tent, zipping it shut, hearts pounding. The humming returned, now circling the camp, dozens of voices weaving together. Shadows moved outside the tent, too tall, too thin, their outlines flickering against the nylon. They didn't touch the tent, but I felt their weight, like they were pressing on my chest. At dawn, the voices faded. We packed up in silence, hiking out twice as fast as we'd come in. Near the trailhead, I found a circle of stones, each carved with a spiral. Nate swears he saw a figure watching us from the ridge as we drove away, its head tilted like it was memorizing us. We don't talk about Black Hollow anymore, but sometimes, when I'm alone, I hear that hum, faint, like it's waiting for me to return. My family's cabin sits on the edge of Siskiyou National Forest, a place I've loved since I was a kid. Last summer, at 19, I went up alone to clear my head after a rough semester. The cabin's isolated, no neighbors for miles, just me and the woods. I'd done this trip a dozen times, so I wasn't worried until the lantern showed up. On my second night, I was reading by the fireplace when I noticed a faint glow outside, bobbing through the trees. I figured it was a hiker, maybe lost, so I grabbed my jacket and stepped onto the porch. "Hello?" I called. No answer, just the glow moving deeper into the forest. It looked like an old oil lantern, the kind nobody uses anymore, swinging as if carried by an unseen hand. I followed it, stupidly, my flashlight beam barely cutting through the fog. The glow stayed just ahead, leading me off the trail. The air grew heavy, the usual night sounds, crickets, owls, gone. Then I smelled it, damp earth, like a fresh grave. The lantern stopped, hovering over a clearing I'd never seen before. In its light, I saw a figure, hunched and cloaked, its face hidden. It didn't move, but I felt its gaze, cold and ancient. "Leave," it rasped, its voice like rustling leaves. I stumbled back, my flashlight flickering. The lantern flared, blinding me, and when my vision cleared, the clearing was empty, no figure, no light, just my shaking breath. I ran back to the cabin, locking every door. The next morning, I found footprints circling the cabin, too large and too deep to be human. My dad says it's just a story, but I know what I saw. The forest has a keeper, and it doesn't like visitors. When I was 16, my scout troop camped in Manistee National Forest. Our leader, Mr. Carver, told us about the Mirror Path, a trail nobody used because it reflected your fears. We rolled our eyes, ghost stories were for kids, but me and my friend Liam decided to find it for bragging rights. Late that night, we snuck out, flashlights in hand, following a faint trail marked by smooth, glassy stones. The forest felt too still, like it was watching. After an hour, we found it, a path lined with those stones, shimmering like mirrors under our lights. Liam dared me to walk it first. I took a step, and the air shifted, like I'd crossed a threshold. The path twisted, and I saw myself reflected in the stones, not my face, but me as a kid, crying, or older, screaming, each stone showing a different fear. Liam grabbed my arm, his face pale. "You see that too?" he whispered. I nodded, my throat tight. Then we heard footsteps behind us, heavy and deliberate. We turned, but no one was there. The reflections changed. Now they showed us running, bloodied, chased by something we couldn't see. We sprinted back, the footsteps pounding closer. The reflections screamed, their voices echoing in my head. We reached camp, gasping, and Mr. Carver was waiting, his face grim. "You found it," he said, not a question. He burned sage around us, muttering about closing the path. The next day, the trail was gone, like it never existed. Liam and I never spoke of it again, but I check my reflection twice now, afraid I'll see that terrified kid staring back. I'm a park ranger in Carson National Forest, 32 years old, seen my share of weird stuff, lost hikers, animal attacks, but nothing like last spring. I was patrolling near Taos when I found a whistle carved from bone, lying on a rock like it was waiting for me. It was intricate, with symbols I didn't recognize, and against my better judgment, I blew it. The sound was sharp, like a scream cut short. The forest went silent, no birds, no wind. Then, from the ridge, came an answer, a low, mournful wail, human but not. I pocketed the whistle, my hands shaking, and headed back to my truck. That's when I saw the tracks, barefoot, human-shaped, but with claw marks at the toes, leading into the trees. That night, at the ranger station, I heard it again, the wail, closer now, circling the building. My radio crackled, spitting static, then a voice, "Give it back." I locked the doors, my heart hammering. Shadows moved outside, too quick, too tall. I didn't sleep. The next day, I hiked back, planning to leave the whistle where I found it. The tracks were fresh, circling the rock. As I set it down, the wail erupted, so close my ears rang. I ran, feeling hot breath on my neck, branches snapping behind me. I made it to my truck, but the whistle was back in my pocket. I buried it in a lockbox at home, but every night I hear that wail, and my windows rattle like something's trying to get in. Whatever I called, it wants its whistle and me. My cousin Jenna and I, both 20, went exploring in the Cherokee National Forest last summer, chasing stories about an old well tied to a witch who cursed the land. Locals said it was hidden, but we found it after hours of hiking, a crumbling stone circle, covered in moss, with a rope dangling into darkness. The air around it was cold, even in July. Jenna tossed a pebble in, expecting an echo. Instead, we heard a splash, then a whisper, "Come closer." We froze, staring at each other. The rope twitched, like something tugged it from below. I grabbed Jenna's arm, ready to leave, but she leaned over, shining her phone's light down. "There's something there," she said, her voice shaking. The light caught eyes, pale, unblinking, staring up from the water. A hand, gray and wrinkled, reached for the rope. Jenna screamed, dropping her phone. It fell, the light spinning, showing a face, gaunt, with stringy hair, grinning as it climbed. We ran, branches tearing at us, the whispers chasing us. "You saw me, now you're mine." We made it to the car, but Jenna's been different since, quiet, staring at reflections like she sees something. Last week, I found a wet footprint in my room, smelling of rot. I dream of that well, of hands pulling me down. Whatever's in there, it followed us out, and it's not done.